Best tips to find an online business idea. This has got you written all over it. Hi, everyone. I'm a student in a computer science program, and I'm interested in entrepreneurship. I really want to try it and become an entrepreneur and see if it works for me, or not, especially when I'm still a student in the university. I'm really struggling to find a business idea in my field, which is software engineering and AI related things. Back to AI again.
Didn't we just have this conversation?
Can anyone help me give me some ideas or tips on how to find a business idea and validate it? I really appreciate your help. What's a business idea in the software world? I mean, there's billions of them.
I know. I actually, once again, because I have a tendency of peeking at the answers below, the guy kind of says it below, is sometimes you can't brute force an idea. Sometimes the idea, you just have to wait for it or you will spot it, right? The key thing is once you start looking at the world with that mindset, right, of what is a problem I can solve?
Right.
Right? Like that's how you go out into the world. So rather than complaining about a problem, if you hear enough people complaining about the same problem, there is probably a solution waiting to happen, right? So you can decide that you want to make something, but chances are if you already know that it's there and it's already to market, you're going to have more competition, which makes it harder than if you can solve a problem that nobody else is solving.
Sure.
And people always think, well, every problem's been solved.
No, they haven't.
No, we're not even
close.
In
fact, sometimes the solutions to a problem just create more problems that need to be solved.
I always think of that stupid plastic thing that you put your sock on it and you put it on the ground and then you slide your foot in and it helps you put your sock on.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So it's like a stand,
okay,
right? So you pull your sock on the stand and it leaves the open, right? So you can stick your foot in.
Like a giant shoehorn?
Yes.
Really?
Just for socks.
I've never seen this.
And then you slide it in.
I didn't know putting on socks was a problem.
Not for you and I.
Okay.
What about for your great-grandmother?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Right? So what it allows them to do is you can pick this plastic thing up, you can put the sock on it, put it on the ground, and now you can put your socks on. And I'm like, who would have thunk that was a problem until you saw someone struggling putting on their socks for whatever reason?
No,
and you
that's
went,
the point.
I can solve that, right? I'll guarantee you the guy that came up with that didn't sit around going, what if I could create like a put on my sock helper? Like, no, that's not how it happened.
No,
right?
Of course. They saw a problem and they came up with a solution.
It,
yeah.
Right? And I think that's how a lot of great business ideas are born is you spot a problem one day and you go, I wonder if this has been solved. And then you go, why hasn't someone solved this? Like, is it a business idea?
So how do you? Right? So how would you? So I mean, I can answer this too, of course. But how would you equate that to software? So when you're in the software world and you can build software models and you can use AI, or you can program AI. Where would you go to look for problems?
Anywhere people are looking for help.
Right.
So Reddit, Facebook, Instagram. Figure out what are people complaining about or asking for help on.
And it doesn't have to be a software issue.
Correct.
It could be something in the real world that software can handle.
Yes. Right? It's, let's take something stupid. Troubleshooting routers.
Okay.
Right?
That sounds stupid. It's actually kind of complex.
Right? But it's still like, how many people know how to properly configure their home router so that it's safer?
Configure, they don't know how to get into it.
Right? And it's a problem.
It's written right on it, but they don't know how to get into it.
So it's a problem.
Yeah.
But you don't know it's a problem until someone logs into your router and downloads 7 movies, and then you get a letter from attorney going, hey, there were 7 movies illegally downloaded, right? And once again, we have to remember, a big part of the world lives so close together that the Wi-Fi signal from your neighbor is better than your own.
Yeah, in some cases,
So it's stuff like that. And there's going to be someone that comes up with something. I mean, I remember, what is it, CrowdStrike?
Oh, the game.
No. Isn't it called CrowdStrike? The anti-hacking software, whatever that caused the outage in Microsoft the other day?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Right? And I was like, do you think anybody 25 years ago was worried about that type of stuff, that CrowdStrike was even a business, right? And now it's valued at like multi-billion dollars, whatever it is. And it's a company that nobody ever heard of until it created a problem with Microsoft. And then all of a sudden, everybody knew who CrowdStrike was, right? But it's those types of ideas that I think are always the best, is spot a problem, see if you can come up with a relatively simple solution. If you can, chances are someone else will pay you to solve that problem for them. That's what most of us do for a living, right? That's what most products are designed to do.
Right.
The guy that invented the fork in Egypt probably went, so when I'm eating with my hands, they become dirty, and now I have to find a way to wash them.
I think the fork came out first.
But if I use this stick, wait a minute, what if I put two sticks together? Oh, look.
That's chopsticks.
That's chopsticks, right? So the same guy, let's assume...
He came up with both?
Let's assume he had the chopsticks.
Okay.
And he's like, there's got to be a faster way. What if I can put 4 chopsticks together, right? But almost everything we have around us was solving some kind of problem.
Sure.
Even the Frisbee solved the problem.
Yeah.
It was an entertainment, right? Like, I'm bored. Okay, what do you want to do? I don't know. Let's go throw this thing around.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it flies. That's pretty cool. Maybe we should mass produce them, right? Like, it's, I don't know.
So long story short, there's lots of places to go to see what problems are people having. And then find out which of those problems do you think could be solved by software, and start trying to solve them.
And AI. Like, we had this conversation. Problem. I have a bunch of stuff in my fridge, but I don't know what I can cook. And someone already did this, right?
Yeah.
So now you can go take a picture of the stuff in your fridge, and they go, hey, here's a recipe you can use based on the ingredients you have.
Yep.
It was a known problem, but until we had AI, there was no easy way to solve it. Now there is. And there's got to be more of those.
Oh,
there's got to be a ton of those.
So many things we haven't even thought of yet. And it's not like they're complicated. It's not like you need to be in a think tank to think of these things. You just need a little bit of imagination, in a couple hours of your time each day to go online, and eventually you're going to hit something. You're going to say, you know what? And guess what? It might fail miserably. And guess what? Go do it again.
Yes. And again. And again.
And again.
Right? And the interesting thing is, a lot of times you see these problems because friends have talked about it, or family has talked about it, or you see it while you're out and about. When you start going into that and looking for problems, you're like, how many problems can there be? Right? Like, because they're endless.
Yeah.
The question becomes, which one are you going to solve?
Yep.
That's the one you turn into a business.
What problem would you like to solve today? That's the question you should be asking yourself. All right, so Phoenix 2023, good luck to you on that. And just go find out what and keep the problems simple. Don't try to solve the world's problems right now, but look to see what problems people are having. Don't even think of it like a problem. Just like what could you make that would make people's lives easier, or businesses easier, or whatever they're doing easier.
Look.
Oh, here we go.
No,
that's a watch.
It's a smartwatch.
Is it?
Yeah. I always said I will never buy one of these. Do you know why I bought this?
You said it last time on the podcast, but I forgot.
Right. So it solves 3 problems now, right? It keeps track of my blood oxygen level.
Right.
And it was one of those, and it tracks, for example, if you start developing sleep apnea. And I didn't even know this until after I got it. That wasn't the reason I got it. The reason I got it was I hate my phone ringing. So I always have it on either silent or vibrate. And I would miss, and most of the time those calls are irrelevant, but because I own and run a business, I have to be somewhat available, and at least when some people call, answer the phone. This watch solved that problem of me being able to keep my phone on silent. Like, I didn't even know it was a problem that was solvable until I was like, wait a minute. So I didn't start with the really nice one. I started with the one that only vibrated when my phone rang, and that was it.
That's where you began.
That was it.
And you realize, this has significantly more uses.
Correct. Right? Like, this can solve other problems too.
Right.
But 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I would have told you the smartwatch is the dumbest thing on the planet to spend your money on.
Hey, I remember, God, it had to be 20 years ago now. Wow. No, longer than that.
Time
1999. I remember. I was working for a company as the webmaster. Yes, we used the term webmaster back then. And it sounds corny now, but back then it was a cool title.
It's a cool title.
This group of guys came to me. They were like, "Hey, we're working on an application, but we need a web component to it. Can you work with it?" Because they knew how to program. I think they were using C++, but they didn't know how to do web programming.
Right.
So I knew both, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, I could work with you." Long story short, the problem they were solving was hospitals at the time had no clue where their patients were at any point in time. Meaning if a patient was taken to one place or to another, if a family member came, where's my husband, where's my son, they have no clue where they're at. So these guys were, and I don't know how far it went because I only worked on them for like 6 months, but they were developing a product where each patient on their bed would have a tag, and then there'd be sensors throughout the hospital, and then you would know at any point in time where the person was. It was a problem they were solving because it was a problem back then. Now it's easy. Now you always know where people are.
Correct.
But back then you really didn't know where a patient was at any point in time. And it was a software with a little bit of hardware too, but a software solution.
Right. And I mean, that's the same thing. It's the same problem the AirTag solved.
Yeah.
Just on a different level.
Yeah.
Right? It's just tracking the location of something.
They just found, read in the story yesterday, $500,000. Was it a Lambo? I think it was a Lambo. Let's just say it was a Lambo. I can't remember. $500,000 Lambo was stolen, and it had an AirTag in it, and they were able to find it in like 20 minutes because of the AirTag.
Right.
It's a new world out there.
It's funny because like we used to have this built into the systems, like like OnStar, right?
Yeah.
And
remember LoJack?
Yeah,
remember LoJack?
Yeah. And like you would have to pay a subscription for it, right?
Now you buy a $20 AirTag. It's better than anything.
Correct. You throw in somewhere
they knew how to get the LoJack out.
Yeah.
They knew how to rip those things out. Those AirTags are this big. You can't find those.
This could be hidden inside
anywhere.
the seat, and you wouldn't know it, right? And they never need charging, right?